Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you that how your salary is evaluated as a teacher, secondary school teacher or primary school teacher or intermediate school teacher here in New Zealand. So basically, most of the schools here in New Zealand are state inspected schools and there are very few private schools as well. So most probably you will get your job in state inspected school. So the salary in those schools, when you give your interview and when you're about to join those schools, your salary is going to be decided by the EdPay. You can see that on my screen as well. So in Google, I have searched EdPay, EdPay. So it's not like you are negotiating with the school or school is negotiating to you. No, it is decided on the basis of your experience, on the basis of your qualification by EdPay. So if I quickly recap the process, so the first step is you will get your NZQA teaching IQA. So if you're not sure how to do that, I have done videos on it. I'm giving the link in the I button and in the description of this video, or you can check it on my channel. After that, the second step is to apply for the teaching council registration. And again, I have done videos on that. Feel free to check my channel, check the description of the video, or I'll give the video link in the I button. After that, the third step is getting your salary evaluated by EdPay or EdPay. Now, why salary is important before applying visa? Because when I was doing that, I was asked to provide per hour wage, like how much I'm going to get paid per hour. So EdPay is the third step, and then the fourth step is applying for visa and then coming to New Zealand and start working here. Now, if I go to the EdPay website, and I'll give this link in the description of the video, so feel free to go there. So here, this link, which is salary assessment info, if I click on this link, so this link is going to give you a quick idea. So you can go through this page, and then the next thing is I will give you the link of this page as well. So previously, when I did my EdPay assessment, at that time, there was an online login portal of EdPay, and I log in through that portal and I applied and I submitted my all required information. But now I can see they have mentioned here that from 18th September 2024, the online portal is no longer accepting new applications and you need to use these forms. So if you are an overseas teacher or you are planning to teach here in New Zealand for the first time, so you need to download this EP70 form, right? Now, if I go to the form, so this is the form and these are the instructions. You can go through the instructions. They are pretty easy, pretty simple. I will quickly take you through this form. If we scroll down, this is the checklist that you need to make sure that you have completed before proceeding with this form, or you can say that when you're submitting this form, you need to provide all these things mentioned in the checklist. So let's go through them. So first thing first, your New Zealand or overseas qualification documentation that confirm the qualification name and date you became eligible to graduate. These could be certificates, academic records, overseas qualification teacher status, or official confirmation letters from your education provider. Academic transcript if you hold NZ Bachelor of Education degree. Statement of service as evidence of previous work experience, which is like work experience. Not required if you were previously employed in New Zealand state or state integrated school. International qualification assessment IQA if your overseas qualification is not on NZ Qualification Authority's list of pre-approved overseas qualifications. Now remember, there are two things. If you are an overseas teacher and you have gone through NZQ evaluation, you need to provide the IQA outcome, as well as you need to provide your scanned copies of your transcripts and your degrees for all your bachelor's, master's, PGC, B.Ed, whatever you have done. And you need to provide the teaching IQA, the subject IQA, whatever NZQA, IQA you have done, you need to provide them as well. And the last point, if you hold the New Zealand teacher registration number, which as an overseas teacher you will do, and your overseas teacher registration, like if you have any teaching license in overseas, so you need to provide that teacher registration number as well. If we move further, an important thing, certify your supporting documents. Each page of supporting document must have the name, signature, position, and title of the person authorized to certify the copy. For example, school principal, solicitor, justice of the peace, or a New Zealand police officer with badge number. And printed copies must include the statement on each page. This is a true copy of the original document. Digital documents must include the statement on each page. This is a true copy or print of what was issued and viewed online in emails. If you are not in New Zealand and if you are in an overseas country, so you need to see that in your country who is the authorized person to attest or certify the documents. So you need to go to them and you need to get your documents certified. So it should mention the name, signature, position, and this is a true copy of the original document. I have explained the certification of documents in details in my videos on how to register as a teacher in New Zealand, so you can go through those videos as well. Finally, another important thing, the statement of service or the experience letter. Now, in experience letter, I have again done a video on experience letter format as well, because in New Zealand requirements are a bit different. So the common thing that we all have is the short description of our role, the start date and the end date. Now, the thing is, you need to make sure that full-time or part-time is mentioned on your experience letter. So if you are teaching as a full-time mathematics teacher or science teacher, so full-time should be written there. After that, if part-time or casual, the exact total hours or hours per week must be detailed in full. Average, estimate, and approximate amounts cannot be assessed. So now, another important thing, you need to have the number of hours per week in your experience letters. For example, if you have worked somewhere for 35 hours, 36 hours, 38 hours per week, so then you need to make sure that that is mentioned on your experience letter. And when you say number of hours per week, it's not the teaching time only. It's like when your school requires you to be there. For example, you are there in your school at 8 a.m. and you leave at 3 p.m. Although your students are coming to attend the class at 8:30, but by your school, you're supposed to be there at 8, maybe to attend the morning meetings or any other stuff. So you will count your time from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. and then you will multiply it with 5 and then you will calculate your number of hours your employer will provide them on the experience letter. Official letterhead or logo of your school or college and the employer's signature and their position title. Now, this is really important. That is why I have done a separate video on experience letter format as well. You can check that video on my channel. I'm giving the link of that video in the description of this video. Make sure that you have a very clear idea that what is the exact requirement of the experience letter. So once you have all these documents, they are certified and your experience letters are in correct format and they are certified. So all the documents, whether they are experience letters, whether they are your qualifications, you need to scan them in the color copy and then you will get them printed and then you will get them certified. So you will take your original documents with you along with the color printed copies of those documents and then you will get them certified. Then you will scan them back and attach them to this application. Moreover, they are saying that make sure that you're using the latest form. So I will provide you the link of this page so you can check there if you're using the latest form. Ensure that all details are saved. Download the form and open in Adobe Reader. All fields with asterisk, red star must be completed. Make sure this form is signed by you and your school principal. Electronic signatures are accepted. Type the full legal name of the applicant and the principal in the signature fields. Ensure that all certified documents have been scanned and each electronic file is less than 10 MB. Now, let's go down. All right, if we start, so the first section is about school details. So the school number and school name, you can get this information from your school. Definitely, you will have an idea about your school name, but school number is something that you can ask your school and you can mention them here. Okay, just make sure that as they have mentioned here as well, all the fields with red star are compulsory. Okay. In employee details, you will have to mention the MOE number, but you can see there is no red star, so this is optional. So usually you will get your MOE number once you are hired. So your school will guide about it. They will definitely, your payroll administrator, whoever is there in your school, they will help you to get the MOE number. So if you have it, well and good. If no, That's fine. At this time, it is optional. You need to provide your surname, your first name, middle name, whatever information is, then your date of birth, the New Zealand Education Council registration number. So most probably when you're coming from overseas, in that case, you will have to get the teaching council registration and you will have the teaching council number. So you have to provide that. If we move further, contact details. You can provide your phone number, but again, the essential is the email address, and rest you can see street address, suburb, town, etc. Then in tax details, IRD number is the essential thing. Now for IRD, if you see here, they have mentioned that IRD is mandatory. Unless you are an overseas teacher and you have not been issued an IRD number, you definitely need it. Once you are here, you need to get this number as soon as possible. And again, your payroll administrator will help you with that. If we move further, the next part is employment details. You need to mention the employment type, whether it is permanent, fixed term, or day relief. Position, whether you are a teacher, guidance counselor, speech or language therapist. You need to mention the sector, whether you are an area teacher, primary teacher, or secondary teacher. Registration, are you a New Zealand trained teacher, you are overseas trained teacher, or you have registration through the Education Council's discretionary pathway. Now, if you need to know about the Teaching Council discretionary pathway, I have done a video on that as well. Check on my channel, check on the video description, and you will be able to get more details on that through that video. Here, you need to provide your qualification details. So if you have graduated here in New Zealand, so you will provide your New Zealand qualifications. If you are an overseas teacher, so you will provide your overseas qualifications here in this table. So the name of qualification, graduation date, and the institution from which you graduated. If we move further, periods of New Zealand and overseas teachers registration. So if you have a teacher registration in overseas, so you need to mention the country name, issue date, expiry date. So for example, in my case, I was teaching in Abu Dhabi and I had an overseas teacher registration in UAE and I mentioned that teacher registration. So PGCE is a separate thing and the overseas teacher registration is a separate thing. If we move further, then we have service details. So the position, for example, you were teacher, subject head, whatever, the name of school, country, start date, end date, the number of years and months. And if we move down, relevant work experience other than teaching. So if you have done any other relevant work experience which was not specifically related to teaching but was related to school, so you can mention that here as well. And finally, the important thing is, please ask your school administrator to send the completed and signed EP70 form, which is this form, and all required documents to salary assessment at novopay.govt.nz. Finally, you will do your signatures, your name, date, and then your principal will do signatures, principal name, date, and MOE number. I hope this video has given you a basic idea of what you are supposed to provide for your salary evaluation. If you find this video useful and helpful, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video to your family and friends, and stay tuned for more useful content related to teaching and learning. Thank you.